most of the pain. Can you isolate the pain for me?
Hip flexors.
Right down through
Yes.
the groin, both groin. Okay.
Yep.
Have you noticed over the last 3, 4, 5, 6 years any loss of range of motion of the hips?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. My flexibility has gone to nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm afraid to stretch because the stretching is painful. And then I actually read that stretching may not be the best thing, even though they recommend that for tendonitis. I noticed when I did it, it got worse.
All right. Tell me this: when you flex over, when you flex over, does that give you some relief as far as the pain in the hips themselves?
When I flex over like this, then I feel a stiffness being relieved in the low back.
Okay.
And then if I stand up, if I were to stand up now, I would be fine for several minutes, maybe up to a half hour. But then as I'm standing or if I'm walking, then the pain gradually increases until I have to bend over again.
When that takes place, do you ever notice any numbness or tingling or heaviness in your legs
No,
before you have to stand over, lean over and flex forward?
no numbness.
And when you're weight bearing for that period of time, 10, 15, 20 minutes, the pain does go down through your groins, nothing down into your thighs, into the knees.
Correct.
All right, let's take a look at actually a couple things. You tell me if I get to any point that's uncomfortable for you.
It's grinding when you do that. It's a bit of pain. Right there, you got it.
Okay, right in there, that starts to become uncomfortable.
Yes,
right
sir.
in there. Okay, very good. What I would recommend at this moment is we can get some x-rays of your pelvis, of each hip, and your low back as well. We'll go over this and take a look and see what we can find. So looking up here, this is about as bad as it gets. The right hip is really completely worn out. There isn't any joint space at all along the top.
What's the recommendation?
A hip replacement is really the definitive treatment for a hip that is this significant and this severe. This is in essence osteoarthritis, but osteoarthritis is unrelenting. It doesn't get better. It just progressively gets worse over time.
So let me ask this. If I were to just deal with it, am I going to cause further damage?
The arthritic process will continue to progress. Your pain level may get worse, and typically does get worse.
And let's say I did have the replacement. How long is recovery time?
Usually the complete recovery process after hip replacement is about 4 to 6 weeks, and the complete scarring and the healing of the hip itself is about 3 months.
I'm really disappointed. Months without doing stuff? Can't ride a bike. What am I going to do? What would you do?
It has to be your decision. You have to be mentally prepared to go through